when we talk about the wisdom of God, we are not talking about wise sayings or quotes. That's the mistake people make. When we talk about the wisdom of God, we are not talking about being intelligent or, being wise. That's not the wisdom of God. Let me show you what the wisdom of God is. When the Israelites got to the Red Sea, he says the sea was before them, the Egyptians were behind them, and they were sandwiched in the middle. And I said, if at that time the guys depended on wise men, if they depended on wise men, whether from the east or the west, it would have been a different story. If they depended on the intellectuals, the educated, those who were smart at that time, boy, the guys would have been asking, look out for trees. Where are the engineers? Let's construct a boat or a ship. I'm talking about 3 million plus. What kind of boat is going to take these people? What kind of ship is going to take these people? So imagine at that time they were looking for the best guy in the class to give them an answer in that situation. What would have happened? It would have been a different story. Then God told Moses, he says, stretch forth the rod in your hand. He says, lift your hand and stretch forth the rod. That was people call it a miracle. It's not really a miracle in that sense. It was the wisdom of God at work. It defies human intellect. It defies calculations. Listen, when man is creating, he needs measurements so that there will be balance. God did not need any measurement. He spoke, and as he spoke, the wisdom, the calculation was in the wisdom. So when things showed up, they came in their accurate. He didn't have to study at school to know that maybe here has to be 6, here has to be 12, so there will be a balance. As he spoke, the calculation was in the word. That's the wisdom of God we are talking about. This is the word you ought to trust in. That when this word is spoken to you, don't calculate. You say, yes, sir, I receive this word. Listen, when he asked Moses to stretch forth the rod, he says the sea parted into 2. Listen, he says, and they moved. I like God. He says they moved on dry ground. Listen, as awesome as that miracle was, at least it was a seabed. You get me? That land had water resting on it. So it meant that water was underneath. It wasn't a pool. It was a sea. And then he said, when he stretched forth his hand and it opened up, they passed on dry ground, not muddy ground. And he says, listen, water stood on one side and another side, live aquarium. I like God. He does it in style. And when they were moving, they were watching the fishes and the creatures of the sea. He does it and he adds pleasure to it. It was a live aquarium. I'm talking about the wisdom of God. And this is what Paul was talking about. He wasn't talking about wise sayings and quotations and deep philosophies. The wisdom of God. Yeah, it's a mystery. How can a man just stretch forth a rod and then the sea would part into 2 and then it will stand as a wall? And they didn't have to run through. He didn't say, they are coming, rush through and let me close it. Nah. He says they walked. They didn't run. They walked. The wisdom of God.